Welcome to it, sports fan. The MKT Show. I'm MKT. Welcome to it. It is the 8th of COVID month, December 2020. Yeah, welcome to Gareth Cliff, Cliff Central Sport. We're going to get into today's Tuesday. So on Tuesdays, I do where I was right, where I was wrong. So, got to stay humble and all that. I don't know, whatever. That's what people say, stay humble. But yeah, credibility and all that. Can't be right on everything. And you got to be a man or woman enough to say when you're wrong. Hey, little growth. 2020 has been a year of growth for everybody. Me too. So where I was right, where I was wrong. And then I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you about it and where I was right, where I was wrong. We'll dive into it a little more. Why some sports just need to cancel certain sections of all the socials. Otherwise, it is Cliff Central Sport. Let's get into it. Where I was right, big night. If you're a Man United fan, it is what Fergie time. Hashtag, hold tight. Hold tight Twitter, as they say in foggy London town. So, that is tough. If you're a United fan, today is tough stuff. Because lose today, Europa. Said it to a friend of mine at halftime of the PSG game. I said, if you lose this game, you guys are out. I think RB Leipzig, they are humming right now. By the way, they are doing it in the Bundesliga, and they're going to push Bayern Munich. So, see how that goes. All right, let's get into where I was right, where I was wrong. Let's start off with what's enough. He's not a grown-up. He's not somebody. Gareth Southgate ultimately was right. Him and I share the same sentiment. If you can't be up, I don't want you as must stop it. Stop telling me, stop trying to get. Twitter's not your friend, by the way. Also, Twitter's not the real world. So where I was right is Jack Grealish is not somebody to bank on. I think Aston Villa made a huge mistake by correct decision to bank on him by signing him. He's an asset. Somebody will want to sign him. He's talented, right? In sport, if you're talented, we'll let you get away with more. So you protect your asset. Good business move. Terrible move, make him your captain at Aston Villa. But terrible move, England pick him and divide the fan base. Terrible. But I'm right. Again, so what? It's 4 drinking charges. It's the Instagram stuff on the boat, getting drunk with the lads. Like, you just can't do that if you want to be the captain and you want to be one of the faces of England. And then you want to complain. And then he goes and tweets about VAR. Listen, nobody likes VAR. But let somebody else in the dressing room do the complaining. You're part of a corporate company. CEOs don't go and complain on Twitter, right? Because that's what you are. When you're the captain of a football club, it's a company. Stop thinking like you're playing Sunday League football. Jack Grealish is the CEO of Aston Villa. Because that's who people care about. Nobody cares about the coach. Like Dean Smith, nice. John Terry, nice. But you're all old guys. And we know what the world loves. Good-looking flash and be the captain, right? Everybody wants. Terry wasn't doing that in his pomp. Come on now. Nemanja Vidic, not on Twitter complaining about VAR or the ref or any of that nonsense. There's no pictures of him drinking on the boats with the lads. There's no 4 times locked in global pandemic. Breaking lockdown. So it's a time. Not only does he have drinking violations, now it's the second time he's breaking lockdown, and it's for his birthday at a restaurant in London. Out like some, not necessarily assists, but just create a chance. Look, you know when you know someone's good. Is Manchester United against West Ham really should have been 3-0 down in the first half. And they're 2-0. Let's be kind. You say 2-0. Jared Bowen misses that sliding chance. It's 2-0. You shut the game. Now Bruno's on second half. I was texting with a friend. I said, if they don't score these goals in the first half, West Ham, it's going to cost them, because I knew second half, Ollie's going to bring on Bruno and Rashford, and it's a wrap. And it was exactly that. Fernandes came on. Manchester United went from championship team with it was Paul Pogba and whoever else that was on, and it looked awful, right? But Bruno came on. They looked like a Ferrari. They went from a tricycle to ability. The sort of the game control was unbelievable. And then Man United looked like a different team with this. Rashford's on his way, but Bruno Fernandes, I was dead wrong. Not just a penalty merchant, but a real playmaker. And at last, if you're a United fan, some hope, right? Is we've got some personality in the team. That's a United player. Forget the talent. The talent, when you come to Man United, you should be a brilliant footballer. Can you over the top? Bruno Fernandes, he's the guy. Losing is a great coach of mine used to say, winning is not everything. It is the only thing. And Bruno Fernandes embodies that. And Man United, that's what we know, right? It's been 7 years. It's a long time since we could say that. But maybe they're on their way back. Put the team on his shoulders. Forget about Paul Pogba. Forget about Fred. Forget about McTominay. Forget about these other guys. Bruno's your guy. Rashford's your backup. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Listen, that's where I was wrong. Where I was right, I've been saying Arsenal are going to take 3 to 5 years to be competitive again. Now, they won the FA Cup last season. I heard Arsenal fans getting loud, and we're back, and we've got our Arsenal back again. It's like, okay, relax, calm down. I was right. Listen, it's because I've been watching sports since I was 5 years old. I know when I'm watching a winning team. I know when you can have boys and you can have men. With boys, you can have talent and they can run around and it'll work for 10, 15 games and they'll be hot and cold here and there. What you need is grown men. What you need is dogs, alpha males. There's not one at Arsenal. Not a single one. Don't tell me about Gabriel. He's all right. Okay, well, we're still not sure. Hit and miss. Got bullied by Harry Kane on the weekend. So listen, 3 to 5 years, Arsenal fans need to grow up, swallow the bitter pill. You are no longer the best team in North London. You are certainly third or fourth in London alone. Just grow up. You're a top 10, top 12 team. That's who you are now. Stop thinking of yourselves as the Invincibles. It's over. I was dead right on that. I said at the beginning of the season, forget about top 6. I don't think you're even going to get in Europa League. That's okay. Because what you need to realize, and finally it's hit, right? Really, you've been getting away with it for a couple of years. Europa Leagues here and there. You won the FA Cup last season when you read Jurgen Klopp, blah, 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 intensity. The job he has done at Southampton following that result is beyond remarkable. It is beyond remarkable. What Arsenal's created there is just unbelievable. The best delivery in the league. Stop. There's 4 or 5. I mean, you got Alexander-Arnold. I think Juan Mata probably still delivers one of the better. They've got those 2 tall centre-backs where feeling they are behind them, and I don't see that changing. So tremendous job thereof. And Southampton are going to finish top 8. They're a quality. Hey, you keep Danny Ings. Came on again. Actually, goals. Always show you who they are. Right? They will always show you who they are. Is that it's your job to believe them. It's not their job to show you who they are and keep showing you who they are. And then they must protect your feelings. I have to protect Paul Pogba, even though I was right about his personality. I know the personality type. I've been around sportsmen my whole life. Here's the thing, right? It's not on him. In life, if you get into a relation and your friend's loud or your boyfriend's a loud person, right? You can't in 8 months, not a grown up. The man who showed you, I want to get out of here. I'm not listening. First time out of retirement, Paul Pogba was 1987. Fair enough. Okay, to win the league that season. Paul Pogba, honestly, it's a 1-team league. And then also Pirlo, Vidal, Marquisio, lots of babies. You got 3 legendary midfielders. So it's not like Pogba went there and changed Juventus, left, and 2 years later they win the Champions League again. So please, do me a favor. But don't be angry at Paul Pogba for being what he is, because he's always been this. Over the top, flashy, and I only care about me. So Man United really shouldn't be upset. They should be upset at themselves. If your girlfriend is loud, if your girlfriend's into money, and when you get into the relationship, she likes nice things, don't be upset. Don't call her a money grabber 18 months into the relationship. That's what she was at the beginning. Sorry. If you somebody at a Pogba, this is who he's always been. Flashy, not too much in terms of ability, because I think he was babysat at Juventus and for France when they won. Stop telling me about that. Bunch of team, and then Fernandes came on, and Pogba looked like he was Platini. He's a back singer. I was dead right. I said he's always babysat. He looks good when he's in. Right? Matuidi, Sissoko, Conte, unbelievable. We go with Mbappe and Griezmann to that. But it's like I say, like a Patrick Vieira. No Bruno. Anybody who watched that first half, now world record fee, and also now, not a grown up. I don't mind, honestly. I don't mind if you're at Leicester, you're at Aston Villa, you're at these other places. If you're not a grown up, okay, if you're there to collect your check, but you'll get Man United. My rule. If you have to tell me you're world class, you're not world class. I can see world. That's a supermarket. Well, I don't know. Naomi Campbell. I don't know. Well, class is class. There's too many advocates. Everyone's an advocate now. Everyone's a barrister for him. Sorry, I was dead right. Paul Pogba, move on. Not a grown-up and certainly not good enough to be toward the end of last season. They moved Tammy Abraham, right? They moved Abraham. I did the right thing. Olivier Giroud delivered them to the promised land. And not only did he do that this season, he has been unbelievable. He's full package for Chelsea. And you got to say he's the guy. You've got to be willing to say that. I was wrong on Olivier Giroud. He's not just a bench guy, and he's getting better. Where I was right, look, again, in business, right? Let's just put it this way. In business, it's quite easy to tell when you're going to be successful. We like the pressure. And here is cricket and rugby. Now, how do I just feel that? Do I just, what? Do I up and feel this way? No, cricket and rugby. But I also watch the NBA, the NFL, IPL. Don't worry about it. We'll put our players in a bubble. We'll test. Billionaires got it all together. Let's get the COVID test together. Everybody stay in a bubble. You want to get your checks? Cricket and rugby couldn't get it together. I mean, this is part of the competition. I was dead right. Rugby and cricket, international in the second segment. Where I was wrong. By the way, if you're a Liverpool fan, you've got to be so proud of Steven Gerrard right now. Because if you're a real football fan, you know Rangers were basically defunct. What, 4 years ago? They were beyond administration. They were about to shut their gates, and they were rescued on the last day by some money. Steven Gerrard's in his second season of coaching. Listen, Celtic are by miles, the biggest club in Scotland financially. It's not close. Lennon knows everything that's going on there. I mean, he's, you know what he's like. You've been in a relationship with somebody and they're always in touch with their ex. I was having to a friend of mine. There's always that ex who's hanging around and they're kind of doing stuff, but whatever. You just carry on. Right? Celtic, that's what's going on there. They keep taking him back and he keeps being mediocre. But Celtic are just, they're miles ahead. And also Rangers fell so far behind. What Steven Gerrard has done, really, with a bunch of journeymen, is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. They've got a 13-point lead over Celtic right now. And by the way, Glasgow Celtic are a shambles right now. But Steven Gerrard, give him the credit. 13-point lead at this stage for a club that was in the second division 3 years ago in Scotland. I mean, that is a T League. That's my Saturday grandmother's club. Here they are 2 years later. Steven Gerrard, take a bow. Brilliant player. Brilliant. This is what I say, people. I just told you about Paul Pogba. Steven Gerrard, leadership personified. Grown up. Steven Gerrard's a grown up. Yeah, Morales, I don't care about your talent. Get out of here. Well, what, do you think you're going to kick people everywhere? Sit up. Grown up. Steven Gerrard, give him credit. Whether you like him or not, I mean, unbelievable job. All right, where I was right, you got to watch the NFL, people. This Bill Belichick guy is just a different beast. 9 guys opted out. Cam Newton's a mess, right? He's throwing basically to, I don't know, bakers and I don't know what some of these guys, some of them are probably dentists. Dentists and I don't know, they're packing shelves at the shops. But Bill Belichick, again, 45-0, they beat the Chargers yesterday. And they got Justin Herbert, by the way, who's the next quarterback. He's going to be the next guy. I mean, there's Mahomes, who's the guy. That's going to be 10 years. But watch out for Justin Herbert. I think it was a coaching mismatch. But Bill Belichick's unbelievable. When you have 9 players, starters, Patrick Young, all of these guys pull out. Right? You lose Tom Brady. Belichick's the greatest thing, maybe the greatest coach sport has ever had. I'm starting to get there because what he's playing with now, honestly, there used to be a saying, Dorchester's a working class kind of dock area, real tough guys in Boston. And they used to say Tom Brady could win with any 3 guys before the game. Tom Brady 45-0. I watched half of the game today. Wow, what a coaching job. I don't know, but you got to say, they got the greatest of all. Wrong. Class, you're a maker, and I'm trying to raise his chest and hold it up. If you're world class, you can do all of it. Mikel Antonio at West Ham, I'm afraid, right now, gives you a better chance than Aubameyang. And again, this is why Dortmund let him go. It's the same thing with Grealish, same thing with Pogba, right? This is why Dortmund let Aubameyang go so easily. This is why no big club has ever touched Aubameyang. Folks, I've been in the football world. People talk. And everyone knew what Aubameyang's personality is. When it's going well, great. When you build it all around me, great. But you know what world-class people do? You know what David Silva does? is you change from you change the manager. Pellegrini, I don't care. Pep Guardiola, I don't care. I'm going to pitch up. Don't worry about putting me at number 10, number 8, number 11. Just put me on the football field. Yeah, if you're in the game, you call them ballers. There's football players and there's ballers. Michael Essien, baller, just put him on the field. Steven Gerrard, just put him on the field. Right? Andrea Pirlo, put him on the field. 6, 8, 10, doesn't matter. Rui Costa, put him on the field, for goodness sake. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, put him on the field. World class. Because you need the ability and you need the personality. Aubameyang's crumbling right now. Something's wrong. He's sulking, and I won't have it. I can't be a hypocrite. I can't be a hypocrite and say Paul Pogba's not world class because it's not a talent problem. There's clearly a personality issue, and that's why Dortmund let him go. I'm afraid it's been 10 games now where I've seen, okay, Aubameyang's not into it. Whatever it is, he's not into it, and I can't have that. World class is also a matter of ability, right? And we got the ability, but it's also mental ability. Because I saw David Silva. I mean, guys, they went from Pellegrini to Pep Guardiola, dynastic. Doesn't matter. Put me in. Coach, but not only put me in, count on me. That's world class. Roy Keane, honestly, Roy Keane, you could have put him with Mickey Mouse as the coach. Right? Essien, Mickey Mouse being the coach. Doesn't matter. Aubameyang, what I'm seeing now, the dropped lip, that's not going to work. Sorry, sir. The flashy cars and stuff, I'm always cautious of people that put on a big show, right? Big show means you're hiding something. Yeah, the flashy cars and things, that's nice. Instagram, nice. You better pitch up. But now I'm seeing why big clubs didn't go up against Aubameyang. Because for me, if you're a world-class person, or if you're just world-class in general, look, if you work in a sales team, I always like to bring it back. I think sales is probably the best environment to see character and personality, right? You work in a sales team somewhere, or even in your work environment, right? You know there's people where middle management has changed, the CEO's changed, the building changes, maybe you move offices, right? And there's one person in the office, they're never late, right? They always deliver their numbers on time. They've always got their paperwork done on time. You may be that person, or deep down inside, you might think you're the best salesperson, but really the best salespeople don't just go and do the sales. They take care of the admin, and everything's on time, and they're never late, and they understand what management wants. They understand the company corporate culture. They don't push back too much. Aubameyang, I'm not having sulking. Sorry, not from my leader. I was dead wrong on that. I said he was world class, and I said move him to center forward. All right, this is why. This is why you're not the guy. Is Aubameyang a guy? Yes. But we all know plenty of people who are a guy, a girl. Right? Listen, we've dated lots of people. We've all dated. We date and you get into relationships. And if you're with your partner right now, look across at them and you can tell them you're doing this or not. Hopefully you listen with earphones, but maybe they're listening with you. Right? If you aren't already married to them, you look at them, think to yourself, would I marry that person? If you have to hesitate, trouble. That's Aubameyang. It's like, do you know what? I like him. I don't love him. That's what Dortmund were telling you by letting Arsenal take him so easily. That's why Real Madrid, Barcelona, Munchen. Hey, what did Bayern Munich do? Listen, they took a guy in Mario Götze who they knew he had a stomach problem. They knew that, by the way. Götze has had that problem since he was a child. They spent over the top on him. Mats Hummels, right? What did they do with him? So they'll take, from Dortmund, they will bully Dortmund out of a player. They don't care. And Aubameyang was doing it in Germany, but you're not going to muck with them. They're like, oh, no. We see he probably doesn't live the life, and he's about the Instagram stuff, and he's about himself. No. That's not going to work. I like him. I like him. But be honest, girls and guys, I tell you what, let me not speak for women. I'm not a woman, right? Let me speak for men. Men, look at your girlfriend right now. If you're above the age of 30 years old, you look at her right now. If you hesitate whether you'd marry her, you're wasting her time and your own time. Move on. And I think that's what Arsenal may need to do. I don't think I'm being reactionary. I've seen enough now. Because when it was all going well, we're winning the FA Cup, it's all good. It's big smiles. I'm on Instagram and loving the team. Now I don't know if you saw the promo video for the Spurs game, by the way. London Derby, and clearly he was sulking and something's going on. And I can't have my captain sulking. I'm sorry. So, Aubameyang, not world class. I was dead wrong there. All right, let's take some comments. I'll finish off with a little bit of cricket and international rugby talk. Tabopadi says, I don't want Pogba at my club, especially after another outburst from his agent, but I know some Chelsea fans who want him at their club. They say United buys faces and plays them in the wrong positions. What? At Chelsea, it's not going to work. I'll tell you what. All right, you can already see what Frank Lampard likes. No glory, boys. Right, and also I said at the beginning of the season, Jorginho is not going to work because you know what Frank Lampard wants. Listen, let me tell you something for free. All football clubs, all sporting clubs, look across the board. When you get some time tomorrow at work, it's all winding down now. It's December, right? Where your 3-hour lunch that you take tomorrow, go and look at the teams that you admire. So I often try and look at the great teams. So go and look at the Australian cricket team from 2001 till 2013, right? The New England Patriots, NFL, the San Antonio Spurs under Greg Popovich, right? If you want to go a little back, Pep Guardiola's team at Barcelona, go and look at Jose at Inter Milan. Football teams or sports teams become the image of their manager. Now, let me tell you something about Frank Lampard. It is well said. Go and read Harry Redknapp's book where he talks about the one day it was driving rain. He could barely see his hand in front of his face. And through his window, he saw a young man. Yes, it's his nephew. He saw somebody running on the football field in driving rain. And he said, it's impossible. No one's out there. Everyone's come off the field. He walks down there, and because obviously he played for West Ham, did Harry, he said, oh, that's Frank Lampard Jr. Frank Lampard Sr. was very much the same, right? Lampard is that guy. Intensity. Lampard is taking his coaches out on running. He says, so Lampard said at the one time in an interview, he's not having his managers be overweight. So he takes his managers out for a run every single morning. Everybody takes a jog, right? Poor Pogba, he wants Mason Mount. Mason Mount is being modeled as the next guy. Kovacic, what do they give you? Physicality and tactical discipline. Poor Pogba, are you joking? I mean, he's got Ziyech running up and down. No. Pogba, forget, you know what Pogba is? Pogba's just a French Jorginho. They don't want to do the physical stuff, and you have to babysit them. So he moved off Jorginho. I don't see a difference between Jorginho and Pogba. Because I'll tell you what, in possession, what do? They really slow it down. Pogba loves that extra touch. Chelsea's quick play, but hey, get it out of there. Mason Mount, first touch, get it out of there. Kovacic, what does he do? Get it out of there, or you're driving the ball to try and beat the Lions. But impact. Poor Pogba wants to look around and swag about, and then I have to deal with his agent. Frank Lampard's not doing any of that. And you saw what Lampard's career was made on. That wasn't talent. That was built on steel. That was built on steel. They're complete opposites. And Lampard's got absolute control of this team. Jorginho out, Kepa out. He's not putting up with egos. No, sir. No, sir. And as a Chelsea fan, I would say not for all. I wouldn't take Paul Pogba as a Chelsea fan if Man United, right, paid Chelsea to take Paul Pogba. So give Chelsea £100 million and Paul Pogba, I don't want it. Keep it. Hey, I've been in a toxic relationship before. I've been attracted to somebody who it turned out to be, I don't like it. And I'm a grown-up. I like grown-ups. Paul Pogba is not a grown-up. And I want Paul Pogba to make all the money in the world. Great. And I've always said to people, listen, I had to tell one or two people quite recently is, listen, don't change for me, change for yourself. I don't want anybody coming to Chelsea to change and Paul Pogba to change. Don't change for me, change for you. And by the way, you don't have to be right for me. Like everybody's obsessed with, you're not right, I'm right. No. My thing is, you don't have to be right for me. Be right for you. But whilst you're being right for you, go do that over there. Paul Pogba, no ways. Not in a million. Honestly, there isn't anything as a Chelsea fan where you could convince me to swap Mason Mount for Paul Pogba. Nothing. Kovacic for Paul Pogba. There is, show me one thing that Paul Pogba does better than those two. There's no chance. Plus, they're grown-ups. Oh, come on. No, Pogba, no way. No way. Emmanuel Mabung was saying, put James Milner to the list. Is that being a grown-up, being a professional? I hope that's what you're talking about. James Milner's a grown-up. Let me tell you something. It's the same in business, by the way. It's the same in life. In fact, not just business, even in personal life. Right? If you are reliable, people will find a reason to keep you. If you are high maintenance, again, I've said this before, Emmanuel, I'm sure you've heard me say, even life is about production tolerance. What value do you add in my life? Are you reliable? Do you give me stability? If you do that, if I know you're never lying to me, I know you are consistent. I can rely on you. When you say A, you deliver A. So trust me, I got my sister in my life. She's one person like this, and I have some friends. If people like you, if people realize that you're professional, and most importantly, here's the most important thing: if you take yourself seriously, right? People will take you seriously. James Milner, it's not a mistake that he's been around the top level of football. Because what happened to James Milner? Man City, right? Man City went and bought him from Newcastle. Not because he's Neymar. You know why they bought him? Oh, that's a professional. We're going to get 7 out of 10 all the time. He's going to pitch up on time. He's going to be the first guy in, last day out. And you know what you get with James Milner? Is when you build, because building cultures is a nightmare, people. We all work in companies where our best sales guy leaves, a great manager leaves, a great CEO leaves. It's a disaster for 5 years. Look at the big banks in South Africa. I mean, you look at the blue, what are they? Light blue bank. Right? They lost the guy who started Rain, and what happened? FNB's been a disaster since Michael Jordan left. Be honest. They've been trying to rebuild the culture. He gave us e-bucks. He gave us all of this stuff, and they haven't innovated a thing in 5 years. James Milner is the guy where we can build a culture with him because the youngsters can see him. Even at 40, James Milner could play at Liverpool. If people like you and you're professional and you take yourself seriously, you can be great. And James Milner is real. He's a Premier League legend. We are the things we do, not the things we say. Man City took him on, and Liverpool, a dynasty or a very, very good team, took him on. That tells you something, people. Character matters, and James Milner, you are a grown-up. I love grown-ups. Emmanuel saying, Aubameyang, Hazard, and Pogba, same WhatsApp group. They have an attitude problem. You know what? I'm not just saying this because I'm a Chelsea fan. I don't know what's happened with Hazard at Real Madrid. The problem is when you're the coach's son, right? For those who don't know, of course, they share the Algerian heritage between Hazard and Zidane. Zidane wanted him so badly. Then he had the weight problems. See, I don't understand that part. You know my take on Luke Shaw. If you have weight problems at a football club, sorry. Listen, if you are at home and you're Sally walking, you're a single mom with 2 kids and you got weight problems, fine. Life's hard. When you are a 5-star footballer, I can't forgive Eden Hazard, and I love him because he gave my football club everything for 8 years. But I hesitate to put him in Aubameyang and Pogba's group because at least I saw Hazard at Chelsea lead a club for 8 years. Because the tactic under Conte, under Mourinho, when we won those 2 titles, get it to Hazard, praying hands emoji. I can't do that. And so I can't put Hazard in that group. But what's happening at Real Madrid, it's sour. But again, look, not everywhere is a fit. Have you ever seen 2 people? Because Real Madrid and Eden Hazard, it's like 2 supermodels getting together, right? Or 2 actors. Like Scarlett Johansson's been divorced a couple of times. It doesn't make sense. It's like you should put a superstar, a movie star, an A-grade movie star, and an A-grade movie star together. Wow, they are perfect. But sometimes it's not a good fit. Not everybody's a good fit everywhere, right? You might be a good-looking girl, good-looking guy, successful, but maybe you're both selfish. Maybe it's not a good fit. Not every fit is a good fit. On the surface, it might look like, hey, 5-star player, 5-star club, but maybe Eden Hazard, maybe Real Madrid's not for him. Maybe Spain's not for him. Maybe he misses the intensity of the Premier League and he didn't realize. We've all made mistakes before, but I think, come on, Emmanuel, it's a bit far to say Hazard and Aubameyang and Pogba are the same because didn't Hazard led Chelsea to 2 titles single-handedly, especially the Conte season. The Mourinho season, I can give him, I'll say, look, okay, Fabregas was still playing. We still had Schürrle humming. We had Costa humming. Against with Antonio Conte. That was the Hazard show. He was unbelievable that season. Unbelievable. He led us to a title. And led Chelsea to a couple of titles, by the way, single-handedly. He was the only world-class player we had for 8 years. Diego Costa was never world-class, be serious. So, that's tough. That's tough for me to go that far. Tabo says, do you agree that we often buy popular players and play them in the wrong positions? At Man United, I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not sure if I'm going to go that far, because I like what I can see and I can prove. I'll tell you what you've struggled with is to be clear about what you expect from people. So we've all worked for management, and I certainly have worked in productions where the producer and the director, they're actually not sure what they want the people to do, right? And it's very, very difficult. I don't care where you go. In life, it matters where you end up, right? I don't care if you're the most talented person. If you're a salesperson and you don't have a solid internet connection and you don't have a phone that you can phone from 31 days a month, you got a problem, right? I don't care if you're the greatest mathematician, accountant, statistician in the world, right? If you go work for a bank where they don't keep you up to date with what's happening in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange every day, it's a rinky-dink operation and you're never going to be at your best. But you go and work at HSBC where the office is great and they've probably got the smartest people in the world and the environment matters, and most importantly, the management is accountable. It's a whole different situation. So what I might say is, for the players that are coming to United now, it's not like under Fergie, because it was very clear. Listen, the thing about alphas in life, alpha males, which is all sportsmen and women at that level, I don't care if you play in the championship, you're an alpha. You're in the 1% of the human society globally. All of them have egos. You need someone to tell those people what to do, non-negotiable. It's called buying in, right? And I think more than saying we buy the players, we won't put them in the right place, have you had the right management since Fergie left? Because let me tell you something, talent has to be managed. So this idea that Man United have had, where they've certainly gone wrong, is thinking you can just pile talent up. No, sir. Now, that has been a Man United problem, right? You bought Angel Di Maria, and he was probably the best midfielder in Europe that previous 2 seasons at Real Madrid, right? That's not a Di Maria problem. You bought him and you played him on the wing. At his best, he was going box to box, shuttling at Real Madrid. Now, is that a matter of the management just not getting it right? What's the culture, right? Sorry, always. Don't think talent is going to... talent can get you to the brink. But culture, I really believe that. Culture and systems get you there. So, Thabo, I have to defend players here. I have to say Man United have got the structure wrong. And without structure and systems, you're dead. I don't care who you are. Ask Arsenal. Or in fact, ask United. And folks, we've all worked somewhere where the management is crap. And Thabo, my advice to you and to all young people entering the working world, listen, it's tough. Maybe you got to send money home. That's a whole different situation. Chase great management. That's impossible to find. Don't chase money, because you know what? Where there's great management, there's going to be money to be made. Where there's money, it may not always be there, and there may be a ceiling. And Man United are finding that out. Is you don't just compile talent. You need culture and you need management. And I think I would have to criticize Man United more on the management side than the player side. Is Paul Pogba should not be put in the position he's in. Right? A real manager, Fergie, doesn't put Pogba as the center of the club. Very quickly he realizes, this is a backup singer. It's an overinflated ego. We got to crush it, or he's got to go, right? Because look what Fergie did. To kind of close on this point is, look what Fergie did. Ruud van Nistelrooy at his absolute peak. Agents started coming out. I want a bigger contract. I'm not being appreciated. Get out. Jaap Stam at his absolute best said, I'm the best player in the world. He had some stuff with the stuff off the field with the steroids. Get out, right? Be here with Man United. Be a grown-up. I don't care about your talent. You know what happens then? It becomes very, very clear. When Fergie says A, you do A. You don't get out there and you're creative. You do A and you listen to Roy Keane. There's nothing else. It's been all over the show. Paul Pogba gets to do what he wants. Di Maria came. He does what he wants. Falcao, did he even need a number 9? That's a club problem. That's more of a culture problem, I think, than more just, Yeah. So I want to defend the players. So I guess 50% I am agreeing with you. Playing them in the wrong positions, I guess we're saying the same thing. The leadership's been off. So if that's what you're saying, I'd have to agree with you. I think you're dead right there if that's what you're saying. All right, let me finish here. We got one more section. You've got Cameron in the booth. By the way, Cameron, I'm going to say that all the time. It's the least original thing in the world, but I love it. Cameron Booth says, hi, MKT. What do you think Man United are still trying? Why do you think Man United? Sorry, Cameron. I was educated under a tree. I can't actually read. So Cameron Booth is saying, hi, MKT. Why do you think Man United are still trying to keep Pogba? You know, Cameron, I think it's multiple reasons. It's not ironic that Paul Pogba arrived the season that Adidas became Man United's sponsor. Now, listen, Cliff Central has educated viewers, and you all know this. By the way, it's not unusual for clubs to get big sponsorship deals, and part of in the sponsorship deal, you'll see, world record sponsorship deal. Oh, surprise, surprise, they signed the pinup boy of that company. Now, Man United, biggest brand in the world, Adidas, okay, we're giving you the world record deal, but in that, tell you what, the 100 million, don't you worry about it. It's actually, what are we doing? 5-year deal. It should have been, let's make an example. It should be an $80 million per year deal, hypothetically speaking. Tell you what, let's make it $120 million a year for the 5 years. Actually, what we're doing is let's pay Paul Pogba off. Because what they're doing there is they're essentially paying for that transfer fee. Man United aren't paying for it. We want that, our brand, Paul Pogba, we want him in a Man United shirt. We want to sell the shirts, and we need our pinup guy, 2 biggest brands in the world. Let's combine that. So I think there is an economic reason to holding on to Paul Pogba. Because love him or hate him, it's a new time. Listen, maybe it's not for us. By the way, I don't listen to pop music. Like, I don't listen to Drake and all of this. But you know what I said about 2 years ago? I was like, oh, this music's not for me. Because being selfish, I'm like, oh, I don't like it. I thought he was a rapper. Oh, well, what's this love stuff? Oh, no, it's for 12-year-old girls to go and fill up cinemas and buy it on iTunes on dad's credit card. The thing about Paul Pogba, love him or hate him, he's not just about the football side. He's a massive, because he represents everything of the modern era, right? Fun, funky, millennial. He's young, he's moving, he's grooving, right? People love that. He's got some personality. And give him that. He's certainly got, not the kind of personality I want, but he's got flash, pizzazz, if you will, right? So that sells. Because how many people you hear, the culture fan. People tell you Paul Pogba's representing the culture. All right. That comes at an economic thing. Because he in that sense, in terms of off the field, social media, marketing, he's a king. He's an absolute king. So I think they've been in a prison there. But I think that's run its course. So that they've sort of paid that off. He's paid it off. Let's go both ways. I believe it's not a football decision that he stayed so long. I believe it's an economic decision. And I believe Adidas had a lot to do with Pogba staying probably 2 seasons too long. Because you do not underestimate, if there's one thing football clubs love, if you know what billionaires love, more than sport, more than football, more than people liking them, money. Money. That's what they like. There's a reason they're billionaires. There's a reason they'll stay billionaires. And by the way, like this family or not, they keep it in the family, right? The father bought the Raiders, established Tampa Bay Buccaneers is who they own in the NFL. The old man owns them, so they own that. And they bought Man United, and you saw how they've done it. So billionaires, they like money. The reason Paul Pogba is still there is money. That is it. It's not performance. Nobody's blind. Sorry, Cameron and Man United fans. That's what I have to tell you. There is nothing about Paul Pogba, and it's been 4 seasons. It's the 5th season now. He's clearly not good enough, right? Like we can all admit that now. Because stop saying Paul Pogba's in the wrong position. They've tried him in the 6, they've tried him in the 8, they've tried him in the 10, they've tried him with 2 defensive mids, they've tried him in a 6-8 pivot, they've tried him with 2 holding mids. I mean, come on. So money. Hey, I know Cameron likes cricket. Seen a few of your comments on the cricket. So let's move on. Let's finish off with this. Great questions, by the way. Love those. So I love questions. By the way, I'm at MKT Inspires on all social media. Otherwise, you can hit me up on Cliff Central Sport on all platforms. contact@cliffcentral.com. So contact@cliffcentral.com. Otherwise, it is sport@cliffcentral.com. That's sport, no S. If you want to email me, sport@cliffcentral, spelled like that. sport@cliffcentral.com. If you want to get in touch, have a chat. There's still a few emails I got to get back to. By the way, I get great emails. So let's move on to this. So I've said this before. Sport is a product now. Can we stop with the nostalgia if you want to have nostalgia for cricket and you want to have nostalgia for rugby, go and play club rugby where you don't get paid anything. And this is always the argument, right? The dumb guy argument at the pub. Yeah, what's happened to real rugby where men were men? But this is the drunk guy at the pub, right? Or at a braai, everyone. Folks, it's a product now. And I'm going to maintain this. Now, please don't take this to heart. I just mean in the sport and elite business environment. Businesses that are outdated were exposed in lockdown. I'm just talking about sport. I know life's been hard for citizens in general. I am just talking about sport and elite environments. Stop going to the office. Who made money? Zoom, Google Meets, all of these products went through the roof, right? If you're outdated, all COVID did was expose you. COVID didn't shut your gates. International rugby and international cricket, I've said it forever, they are useless to their sport. They're high admin, they lots of travel, and if anything that kills the quality of anything and a competitive imbalance is making the New Zealand travel to South Africa, South Africa travel to New Zealand, South Africa to Australia, Argentina to New Zealand to try and have a tournament in 3 months. There's no competitive balance. You're dealing with human beings here. Right? There is no competitive balance. So I've said this already, and we've seen it now. Where there are bureaucrats in charge, you've got no hope. And international sport is the last place where they are. Athletics, gymnastics, volleyball, cricket, rugby, international sports, amateur. Stop it. And if you don't believe me, okay, let's just look what's happened in lockdown. Let's start with cricket. How did the IPL go? Like 1 million games a day, by the way, in a country where it is truly a mixed economy. There is dirt poor, dirt rich, or the richest of the kings and the street urchin walk together in India. How many games were cancelled for COVID? I'll wait. None. There may have been a few, but come on. They got the tournament done, right? 6 weeks, we wrap it up, and they played 1 million games. International cricket, the Proteas and England couldn't organize 6 games. 6 games. What's the difference? The IPL is run by billionaires. It's a product. They want to innovate. You know what billionaires will do? They will protect their product at all costs. So what do? Gentlemen, ladies, everybody in this room, do you want to collect your $1 million for being here for 6 weeks? Here's what's going to happen. It is non-negotiable. You don't agree? Get the hell out. Right? That's how you run elite businesses. Alpha males, alpha females run elite businesses. IPL, stunning success, biggest ratings ever. I spoke to people at SuperSport in South Africa, biggest ratings they've ever had for IPL. I thought it was watered down. It's not. I don't watch IPL. I don't watch T20. The Proteas and England couldn't organize 8 games. It's a joke. Let's go to rugby. French League, Premiership, how long's that been going on? How many games cancelled? How many COVID cases? Let's look at the top 4 team. They're getting the French team, hey, you're not playing our players. How many games cancelled in the French League for COVID? And that's a hotspot, by the way. The Iberian region has been a hotspot. 0. None. We're playing every game. We're going to play the league. We're going to finish it out. Why? Billionaires will invest in their product. International rugby. I mean, what's happened? Springboks are pulling out of Tri-Nations. They haven't organized it right. You know why? It's run by bureaucrats. You can't in modern day have bureaucrats. Let me tell you something. You cannot anywhere, whether in your personal life, in your personal workspace, or in professional sport, you cannot have the players, right? You cannot have middle management and lower management be more professional than the CEOs and the people that are meant to create the opportunities for you. In international rugby and international cricket, right? We've seen in rugby now. How did Sansa let the Springboks pull out of the rugby championship? How do they not warn everyone in advance? Because I'll tell you what happened in the NBA. Well in advance, every team knew, here are the protocols. Here is what we're doing. By the way, it's non-negotiable. Shut the hell up. Be there. Dana White, I saw him. He was the first one out. UFC. By the way, you want to fight? We're going to Yaz Island. You want to come and earn your $1 million, $800,000, $500,000 a fight? Here are the protocols you'll observe. Be there and shut the hell up. I was just saying to you earlier, alpha males, you got to manage alpha males and alpha females because egos are incredible things. But you got Dana White. He says, watch yourself. Who says that in international cricket, international rugby? You know why they can't? It's a young man's game. It's a Dana White, young guy. Roger Goodell, young guy. Energy, power. You need alpha males. Tell me right now, who's the CEO of international rugby, of IRB? You got no idea. By the way, the CEO of Sanzar just quit for this very reason. He says rugby hasn't evolved. I've been saying it for 12 months if you listen to Cliff Central. It's an amateur sport. And all COVID has done. By the way, I don't want to hear the Springboks pulled out because they're softies. They're not. IRB were reactionary. Sanzar were reactionary. At the beginning, NBA, on it like that. NFL were making, I was listening to podcasts 3 months ago before the league NFL started, how they're making plans, protocols. NHL turned it around like that. Now, Rob Manfred is the biggest stooge, as Pat McAfee calls him in the league. But they turned it around. They got it right. You know what? Give billionaires the teams. They sort it out. They look after the product. You let the bureaucrats sort out the annoying stuff. Let the bureaucrats fight with government about getting more PPE tests. You don't want bureaucrats running the league and establishing how the product will look. International rugby is a capped business model. Because who's in charge of the Springboks? What, the South African taxpayer? How many opinions we got in this country? We can't even decide who should fix our potholes. You want to tell me we're gonna be smart enough as a collective? Listen, the great Socrates, if you're into philosophy, said he distrusted democracy. I always say, in sport, you need a dictator. This is why one of my favorite sports, boxing's a mess. There's no Dana White. The best don't fight the best. This is why rugby's a mess. International rugby, international cricket are amateur sport. Forget it. The Proteas in England, for God's sake, could not organize 6 games. I saw the IPL go without a hitch. Cancel international. The only thing you need in international cricket, whether you want it in the T20 and the limited overs game, the only thing you need is Test cricket and World Cups. This pajama cricket's nonsense. It's a cap business model. You know what you do? Set up more IPL-style tournaments around the world if you want money. The business model is easy, people. It's out there now. Number 1, pay your players. That's the number 1. Pay your players. They are the product. I hear too much in cricket and rugby about the administrators. In Australia, I forget what her name is, the goth lady, Castle. I heard too much from her. In South Africa, I hear too much from our administrators. SA cricket's a mess. Why? Not our talent. Our administrators. I hear too much about that. You know what? In the NFL and the EPL, you know who I hear about? Listen, even if you're a big football fan, Scuddamore's gone. Who's the new CEO of the Premier League? Without Googling. You have no idea. I say Jamie Vardy. You know exactly who that is because you put those people at the front. Number 1, pay your players. Number 2, give it to billionaires. Number 3, get the bureaucrats out the way. That is the business model. NFL, NBA, EPL, 3 greatest leagues in the world. Pay your players, let billionaires be in charge, and get bureaucrats out the way. That's it. Simple. The business model is so simple. You can't do that in international sport. Who's going to be the CEO of the Springboks? How are we going to decide? It's a mess. It's a mess. And stop this madness. Stop nostalgia. Right? Stop it. I don't want to watch the rugby championship again. It's a diluted product. I don't want to watch it. Tell you what I'll give you as a rugby fan, international scene. I'll give you an end-of-year tour where we play once a year, top-tier teams play a mini tournament, kind of Six Nations type of tournament. By the way, cancel that whole malarkey as well, up north. But anyway, Northern Hemisphere rugby is a joke. I don't care about it. Talking about Southern Hemisphere. Tell you what I'll give you. People say, oh, we need the Springboks, blah, 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 Nelson Mandela, whatever. All right? Play the Springboks once a year, end-of-year tour. They play 5 tests a year. It's all at the end. It's a big tournament at the end. You take the All Blacks, you take South Africa, you take England, you take France. That's it. Maybe Ireland, although they're so hot and cold. Have that tournament once a year. It's a global tournament. You have it once a year. It's like a Super Bowl. You do that once in England, and then the one year you bring it to New Zealand, one year bring it to South Africa. Have it on rotation like that. It's in England, it's in New Zealand, it's in South Africa, it's in Ireland, it's in France. You rotate it like that. There we go. We're hosted in one country. It's a Super Bowl environment. 6 weeks. Have at it, gentlemen. The rest of the time, you know what our players are doing? They're playing in Japan. They're playing in France. In South Africa, we've sold all the teams to billionaires, ideally. And you know what the players are doing? They're getting paid. Pay your players. Rugby underpays its players, and you want to play 30 test matches a year. Shut up. Cancel this malarkey. The only thing we need, let me just finish off on this. The only thing we need in rugby is the World Cup and the British and Irish Lions. That's it. We don't need any other international sport. You know why I say this? It is no longer the highest level of the sport. And people aren't stupid now. If you're a cricket fan, right? Even if you don't like IPL, listen, IPL is the highest level of the sport, right? In terms of the conglomeration of talent. In football, the Premier League is the highest level of the sport. The Champions League, I believe, is the second highest level. The World Cup's not the highest level anymore. International football, it's not 1986. Barcelona are going to beat any international team you put out there. Listen, put a mix of 4 of the best South American teams together. Argentina, Brazil, Bayern Munich are smashing it. The Bayern Munich will put 8 past any international team. 8. They'll do it tomorrow. Give me any international team. Say it right now. 8-0. Consistently, they'll beat 99 out of 100 times. Bayern Munich will beat them 8-0. Real Madrid will beat them 10-0. So it's not the highest level of the sport anymore. Stop with the nostalgia. I love sport, but I want to see the best compete. You want to have nostalgia and the boys and, what about the good old days? Go and play club sport. Go and hang out with your friends and drink your Saturdays away. I don't care about that. I want elite. If you're a cricket fan, be honest, IPL is the best talent together. I don't love IPL, but billionaires know how to create a product, folks, and get the best talent together, pay it, and let it perform. The Springboks, I'm sorry, the Springboks are not beating the best Toulon team if you gave them 2 seasons together. Toulon are crushing everyone, right? Be honest. I don't care how good the Springboks or New Zealand are. They're not beating that. You're getting, the best South Africans, the best New Zealanders in their prime now. They are playing Toulon, Toulouse, Racing Metro. Please, do me a favor. So cancel international cricket, cancel international sport. You know why? It's not serious anyway. It's amateur. It's making a loss, and you don't pay your players, and it's an unbelievably risky sport. Sorry. I'm not one for nostalgia. Don't waste my time. Sorry. The English and Wales Cricket Board and South African Cricket Board, you should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed. You should be absolutely ashamed. But I'm not surprised. You know why? None of them are billionaires. What does that tell you? They've never built a business. Or at least not all a lot of billionaires inherited their money, but at least they were bred by somebody to say every cent matters. And by the way, could you make it entertaining? This isn't club cricket. Make it please, because people work hard for their money, and people aren't dumb anymore. People are giving up because, listen, tell somebody, if you're in touch with the heads of international cricket and international rugby, maybe they're 10 years late. Maybe they haven't heard of Netflix. Maybe they haven't. Netflix, you heard of it? It's a new company. They're not doing too badly in terms of entertainment. You're competing with them now. You're not just competing. Now it's not the monopoly of the old days where you're the Curry Cup, you're the only show in town. If I want to watch Racing Metro, that's 1 click away. That's 1 VPN code away. I'm not compelled to watch the Curry Cup anymore. I'm not compelled to watch the Six Nations anymore. I've got the NFL Pass on my phone. I watch the NFL with 8 different or 6 different camera angles. That's who you're competing with now. So stop thinking that you've got the monopoly and international sport and bureaucrats. This is what they do terribly. The billionaires innovate. Bureaucrats make rules. That's going to give you a very different outcome if you let either party in charge. So I'm sorry, folks. International cricket and international rugby, you've shown me nothing but you are a dead business model in COVID. I'm sorry. It is over. Can we just let it go now? Let's just let it go. You know, it's dead. Stop trying to hold on to it, and don't let nostalgia hold you back, folks. You know, how many times now? I said to a friend of mine that has this boyfriend, cheated on it twice. I say, stop telling me. Somebody shows you who they are. That's who they are. Average, mediocre. Get them out your life. Get international cricket out of the way. It's terrible. And don't tell me administrators aren't going to change it. They're not going to change it. It's a new world now. We're in a professional world. International cricket and rugby are what they really are is an analog product in a digital time. All right, those are my thoughts. Love to know what you think. sport@cliffcentral.com. Otherwise, hit me up. Hey, hit me up in the DMs. For once, I find it acceptable. Slide into my DMs. Finish off with Cameron Booth, and we'll finish off with Cameron. He says, the SA cricket chat might be relatively short. COVID, end of story. Let's talk about India, or the absolute thrashing West Indies got against New Zealand. West Indies are far from a test team, I believe. A test playing nation. They should stick to the shorter form of the game. Hey, Cameron, you should have your own podcast. You should have your own podcast. Cameron, you are dead right. You are dead right. There is nothing there that I can disagree with. India, I think that's great stuff. Again, one day cricket, Cameron, I have to be honest with you, I'm 34 years old. I'm old. It hurts to get out of bed at my age. I'm struggling. I'm starting to get really old. I realize every time I talk, I sound like a grumpy old man. I only watch Test cricket, but I've been keeping an eye on India, Australia. Look, Cameron, let's also create some context. Whether you like cricket or not, I've always said I'm the biggest critic of Dave Richardson and what the ICC did about 5 years ago. They made a huge mistake. In business, there's a rule, and I believe in life. Never sell your future, right? Or never sell your present for your future. That's the old adage, right? Never, ever sell your present to jeopardize your future. Dave Richardson and a few cronies at the ICC sold cricket to England. And if you don't believe me, go and look it up. They sold cricket to England, India, and Australia. And what do I mean by that? There was a memorandum drawn up a couple of years ago, and it was signed because they're the most powerful nations. And this is where you need a Dana White, right? This is lack of leadership from Dave Richardson, who was the head of the ICC. And he got a lot of credit. And I've always said, if you get a lot of credit, you must put up with all the flack. It must be equal. You must always be willing to put up with both. And I'm a big critic of Dave Richardson. And I know it pains a lot of South Africans because he's one of our heroes. And people say he did great work. All right, well. But what they said in this memorandum was that Australia, essentially, I'll boil it down for you. You can go and read the article yourself. Australia, India, England are the richest nations in cricket. They get to essentially decide the schedule. Only they pay, so you'll notice, only they play 5 test match series against each other, and we've got the most money, so we're going to take all of the big games. And only we'll play against each other 5 tests. Now, you might say, yes, that's a money game. What they should have done, what Dave Richardson should have done, is stop that nonsense. Let's figure out how to make everything profitable. Do we need to cut down the test schedule? Yes. Okay, good. Let's do that. Do we need to bring the IPL in-house with the ICC, right? And find a way to make both calendars work and make it an ICC official event? There were so many other options that they could have taken, but they folded so quickly. This is what, and billionaires wouldn't have done this, but bureaucrats, because Dave Richardson's what? A lawyer, right? Soft. They soft. Always look, because what do? You go to a lawyer when there's problems. What do they generally do? You settle on, you settle down. Let's get somewhere in the middle. You know what billionaires do is, let's do the extreme. I'll ask for forgiveness. Bureaucrats never want to ask for forgiveness. Look at politicians. They're so careful. That's why countries don't make big strides. I want my billionaires in charge. But go and look up this article about how Dave Richardson and the ICC sold cricket to 3 nations. And by doing so, they collapsed the international cricket model forever. International cricket's truly dead because of them. All right, but let's get back to this. Australia, India, I think that's going to be awesome. And hey, Cameron, I'm working right through. By the way, this show's on right through to the new year. I've already told people I'm unavailable. I think the test series starts around the 16th. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's going to be that Boxing Day test. I'm waking up for every day. Cameron, I'm the guy that goes to test matches. I lived in Cape Town for the previous 4 years. I went to every test match I was in Cape Town. I went to, if it was 4 days, I went 4 days. If it was 5 days, I went 5 days. I even went to, if there was 30 runs to get on the next day. I go to 5 days of test matches. So I'm really looking forward to the test series, and I will preview that, and we'll chat about that, Cameron. I'm really, really looking forward to it. On the West Indies thing, you know, when they went, of course, they were the first, I think, test series to play against England. I said, don't get excited because that first test. But then I looked at it and I said, the problem is this. Their administration's awful. And again, you know what the problem is? It's the same problem as most of South African sport. The players are more professional than the administration. So the Windies, it's easy to get up and get excited. Oh, cricket's back. But then quality took over and England really put them to the sword, and you saw it from there. Like, Holder can't do everything. His job is to focus on cricket. But Jason Holder's trying to change the culture. Then you got big Phil Simmons trying to change the culture, coach. There's financial problems. The guys don't get paid. You see, again, problems with administrators. Pay your players, right? Pay your players is non-negotiable. You want to have a product, it's non-negotiable. I agree with you. The West Indies should just play T20. If Test cricket is just going to be 4 nations, fine. Like, I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with just India, England, Australia, and South Africa being the Test nations that we get to watch. Everyone else is tier 2, and to be honest, I don't really care what happens. Pay those guys. Listen, there's no fairness in sport. Stop with this thing, fairness. I want to watch the elites. I have no problem with just 4 Test teams, and I want to see 5 Test match series. So I totally agree with you. West Indies are a joke. And New Zealand, come on, stop. New Zealand are too hot and cold. The pity is they maybe have, the 3rd or 4th best, maybe the 2nd best player of this generation. Kane Williamson, are you just the most unbelievable player alive who doesn't get any credit because you're stuck in a university team? He is all time. And Kane Williamson's done it everywhere now, right? Even more so than, and I hate to say it, he's done it more than Tendulkar. Right, Tendulkar, if the ball bounced above his knees, he's got problems. Listen, all-time great. Tough to say when you got that many runs. Kane Williamson's for real, people. That's a real player. You got to feel sorry for him. Like I said earlier, hey, where you land matters. Kane Williamson is in a mess. Oh, my goodness. You know what it is? Kane Williamson, let me give you the comparison before we go. What he is, he's a supermodel who had a baby with an alcoholic, right? Like, when you met the guy, she probably thought he was nice. Oh, no, God, she had a baby now. The baby's 9. She can't leave this loser. She's got options. Kane Williamson's a supermodel. She's stuck with some overweight alcoholic as a partner. That's what's happened. Because he should be playing, Australia or India, right? He's unbelievable. Kane Williamson should be the 2nd or the 3rd biggest star in world cricket. But like I say, he's at a university team, which is shocking. So, Cameron, I hope I answered your questions there. I totally, there's nothing I disagree with. West Indies are on a professional setup. You need culture. And culture is a huge part of culture. But culture doesn't just happen. It has to be deliberate. And what does that mean? You have to administrate it. Administration's tough, people. It's hard. It's hard to get good management. In life, chase good management. Don't chase money. I always say that to young people. I doubt anybody would listen to me. I'm a loudmouth and who would care about a sports guy. Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere tonight with anybody. You chose to be with me. I'm MKT. And tonight's been awesome. Great questions, by the way. Again, I'll finish off sport@cliffcentral.com. I'm MKT Inspires. That's Mike Kilo Tango. MKT Inspires on all social media platforms. Otherwise, hit us up, Cliff Central Sport. You can find us anywhere, Cliff C Sport on the Tweet Monster. Ladies and gentlemen, could have been anywhere tonight with anybody. You chose to be with us. For tonight, from this guy, GC, Gareth Cliff, from me, MKT. Remember to go, before you go, push like. For tonight, though, if you're a Man United fan, good luck. Get the asthma pump out. For tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are the hell out of here.